Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Sim Experience South Africa Toyota GT4 Cup, coming to you live for round 8 from the Hochenheimring circuit in Germany. Tonight we are here for round 8 out of our 10-round championship. And just to let everyone know, this is round 8. The following round will be the Hochenheimring Grand Prix circuit, the 2016 version, the current layout, and then the final round will be the Valencia circuit in Spain. Just to look at our points coming into this round, well, all rounds, you get 22 points for P1 all the way down to 15th place, where you get a single point. There's a single point for pole position and a single point for fastest lap in both race 1 and race 2. Our standings coming into this round, we have Gerrit Bierkes for Full Throttle Racing on 259 points, from Jason Underwood for JU Autos Racing 222 points, and Jean de Toy for Savage Racing on 206 points. In 4th place, Neil Swartz. 5th place, Timo Smit. 6th place, Die Gemildian. Picky Stander in 7th, Dinesh Singh in 8th, Monet Deploy in 9th, Julian Brains in 10th, Andre Hildebrandt in 11th, Jaden Harrison in 12th, Jeffrey Rouse 13th, Peter Murray in 14th, Dan Bezadno at 15th, Michael Rabellini in 16th, Donnie Stander 17th, and in 18th place, Monet Dutoy. And we only show the top 18. I believe the drivers are on track now, if I am correct. I am just going to double check. But yes, indeed they are. Alright, so we are now live for qualifying. So, welcome everyone to the Sim Experience South Africa Toyota GT4 Cup. Round 8 coming to you live from the Hockenheim circuit in Germany. I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell. I'll be joined by Sean Woodgate hopefully sometime soon. I'm still waiting for Sean to say hello. As soon as he does, we will all hear him. So I'm flying solo until Sean gets here. This of course is qualifying. It's a 15-minute qualifying session. I'm just going to quickly run through the schedule. For those that missed the first few moments, this of course is Hockenheim. We'll be following it by Kyalami and then the Valencia circuit for our final round. I'm just going to quickly put up our point system. Everyone can just have a look at that at their own leisure. And the points coming into this round. Alright, so now we can get into the round proper. We're watching Jason Underwood on track at the moment. Drivers have been warned in the driver's briefing for the track limits for turn 1, the inside and the outside. There is an issue where the drivers can actually go over it without getting any penalty, so they've been warned to stay on the track limits. Alright, drivers all on track at the moment. I don't think anyone is actually on a lap. Everyone is basically on their out lap at the moment. Let's do a onboard with Jason. Turn 1, there's that sausage curb on the inside. You must stay on the outside of it. You can't go beyond the green paint on the left hand side. That is the track limit. Right, into turn 2. This is a corner where you can take 2 different lines. You turn in tight or you can run wide. Most drivers doing what Jason did there, they run it wide. Right, a bit of a straight here now. The King Straight. Very famous stadium on the right hand side. Those grandstands, I guess you would say. Tightest corner on the circuit. I think this is beyond 90 degrees, probably 110 degree corner roughly. Very rough curbs on the outside there. You've got to be careful, that does lose a bit of drive. Turning nice and early, just hug the curb, helps to rotate the car. Make sure you brake earlier so that you can get the car to rotate, otherwise it over rotates and you get a slide which affects you all the way around you, because you need to get early, hit the inside curb on the left, hit the right curb there, then drift wide, lean on the sausage curb just to keep you on track. Take as much road as you can on the left while avoiding the wall. Nice and early on the inside curb, drift wide. Once again, brake just before the 50 meter mark, probably at about 70 meters. Keep the car nice and tight. And now use the car's momentum, throw the car around. Straight line these corners, turn in nice and early. Drift wide once again to the sausage curb. turn in early, and then get on the power and just use as much of the exit as you can, not as much as that definitely will slow you down. And that is a lap of the Hochenheim circuit. Alright, so Neil Swartz currently on a lap. Let's have a look if he can improve. Currently in 4th place, having done a 1:44.5. Time to beat at the moment is a 43.5 by Jean-Andre Dutoy. Neil, personal best in Sector 1. Let's go on board. We have, I believe that's Julian Brains in front of him. It might have been a D, but I think it's Julian. Nice and neat on the entrance, a little bit loose on the exit. Make sure you turn in early, just get the wheels over the curb just to help rotate it. That way you can just carry enough speed. Turn in nice and early, but not too early that you hit that sausage curb on the inside. That will ruin your lap. You'll unsettle the car and you'll probably lose half a second to a second. Good evening, Chris. Just saying, have a good race, racers. So hopefully you do have good races tonight. Neil leaving a bit of room on the exit there. Could have pushed a bit harder. Running a bit wide there as well. And getting a bit of a slide on there. Alright, a D. Personal best, Sector 1, Sector 2. Just saying, Jason for the win. A D up to 4th place. Jason currently in P2. So we've got Jean-Andre Dutoy, our current pole setter, on a good lap. Actually, sectors aren't showing, so I don't think this lap counts. Right behind him, we've got Gerrit. So let's go on board with Gerrit. We can see Gerrit's lap as well as seeing what Jean-Andre is doing up ahead. So Jean-Andre will now start another lap. Just over 9 minutes to go. Right, going across the line now. Lean on the curb on the outside, turn in nice and early. Nicely down there by Gerrit. Gerrit currently in 3rd place. It's extremely close. Top 3 covered by 0.1 of a second. Gerrit taking a nice early turn in there. That's a line which will help give you a little bit more drive down the straight. Jean-Andre up ahead, also on the lap. Jean-Andre's first sector was a 23.195, Gerrit's was a 23.114, so a fraction faster. So the Bumblebees preparing to sting.
Good evening, Dennis.
Good evening, Sean. Yes, that's what my teacher used to say when I got to school at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
8 minutes to go in qualifying.
Yeah, I've got it up and I see Gerrit is in 3rd, the Bumblebee that's in picture at the moment, and the gap is only a quarter of a second, but Jason is very, very close to Jean-Andre at only 0.095 in 2nd place.
I think someone just joined, I'm not sure who it was. Ooh, Jean-Andre hitting the dirt a bit there as well as Gerrit, so I think they both lost a little bit of time there.
I think it's Andre Hildebrandt. Because he's got 9 times up there. So there are 13 cars on track.
Thought it might be Stan, but Stan hasn't joined yet. Stan will be joining, he's just waiting for his power to come on.
Yeah, we had a high-felt storm of note with hail, with wind, with... I'm lucky I don't live like 1 block down the road. Their wall was either washed or blown down, I'm not quite sure which. But yeah, to have a wall down
Not
in
good.
the times that we live in, not a nice thing.
Look at this, fastest first sector for Neil.
Yeah, certainly the guys are getting, well, I said it when they joined then, they were quick from the get-go, and certainly they have come to the fore. I think with a full season or 2, we can expect quite a lot from them, that they'll be in the top 5 consistently. Well, they've shown that already. Some of them have just had bad luck on the restarts or in the starts of the 2nd race, but certainly we can expect Neil and Picky. They're in 5th and 7th at the moment, but I think with more time, those guys can get quicker and quicker.
Yeah, fastest first sector, a personal best in the 2nd, so this is definitely going to be up there.
Yeah,
Nice
One thing I
lines.
must say, sorry, Dennis, one thing I must say, this circuit is probably the circuit with the most grandstands that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think it's most famous for its grandstands. I mean, the
Yeah.
final sector is called the stadium, so that's how
Yeah.
famous it is. Unfortunately, Neil messed up the last sector, so that was a good lap thrown away.
Yeah. He lost the back end coming out of the last curve, which is, I'm not going to, well, the last corner is the south curve and the first corner is the north curve. So, but just in German, Südkurve und Nordkurve. So, yeah.
Julian Brain's fastest in the first sector now, so it looks like we're getting guys getting faster and faster, maybe getting a bit more brave with the limits on track one. Oh, sorry, turn one, not track one.
Yeah. I think that's all there. That's not going to get you a good time.
No, I think that's the end of this lap.
Yeah. So it's pretty much not quite the same as what the top of the hill Lukop is at Kailami, but also it's a corner that you have two apexes. So they just seem to be a little bit further apart. But the first section where the pit lane exit sits, that seems to be the tricky bit that catches everybody out.
Yeah. I think this is a fantastic circuit. It's quite a challenging circuit. It's not what it used to be without the woods, that sort of section of the track with all the long straights being cut away, but it's still a very challenging circuit.
Yeah, I actually went and read up on it, and it actually has a very, very interesting history. So if you have the time, go look at Wikipedia. And it actually started as a triangular circuit with basically 3 straights, 3 corners, and that was it. And then it went through various changes, and the one that you're mentioning now, it went through the woods, and they actually went double sure that nobody would ever revive it, and they replanted the forest. So you can see it from an air view that they used to run a long section through the forest, and the reason why they discontinued that is because there were no spectators there, so it didn't really make any sense to have the cars going where nobody was watching them.
I think it wasn't really the spectators, it was a safety point of view as well.
Yes. Gerrit with a all-time best in sector 1 and a personal best in sector 2. He's leaving it quite late, which is normal. Actually, not so late. There's 4 minutes to go, and the lap takes 1 minute 43 point something. So yes, a purple in sector 1 and a green in sector 2 for Gerrit. Let's see if he can keep it all together. Brakes going, just a dab on the brakes going into that corner to settle the car. That looks quite mean, and it doesn't change. Well, maybe I've got a lag. Just make sure I am plugged in. Here it comes up now. He stays in 3rd.
Yeah, it was close, but not close enough.
Yeah. Yeah, he is, if you look at the gap, it's incremental. So Jason Underwood is now 0.26 behind Jean-Ray, and Gerrit is 0.277. So it's 0.017 that is behind Jason, and then of course 0.277 behind Jean-Ray. So 2nd and 3rd is very, very close. And once again, if it stays as it is now, Gerrit is going to be the point around which everybody else pivots for positions for the top 5 in race 2.
Which was, for most of the season, reserved for Jason Underwood.
Yes. So Jason's gotten quicker, or got used to the car. So it's going to be an interesting race. See them strong around. We've got 14 Stan has joined. So Andre Hildebrand has got a lap in. Stan hasn't got a lap in yet. He doesn't have much time. He's got enough time to get around and start a timed lap. And that's about it.
Tomas asking, what's up with the 3rd thing? Well, with the reverse grid, 3rd place, if you qualify 3rd, then with the reverse grid, or the top 5 being reversed, you stay in 3rd. So your grid positions are the same for race 1 and race 2. So if you qualify 1st, obviously then you're then 5th for the next race. You've now got to make a few places up a little bit harder. Whereas if you start 5th, then obviously it's harder for the first race, easier for the second because you'll be in 1st. But if you're 3rd, you have the same for both. It does, I guess, play into the strategy. So depending on what you're strategizing, obviously you want to be 1st. If you get 1st for pole position, you do get a point. And race 1 would definitely be easier from the front. But race 2 is definitely the harder one because you'll be coming through 4 more guys in front of you. Right, Pakistan, the fastest in sector 1 at the moment.
Okay, so he's doing quite well. But as we said, things are very, very close. Even down to Picky in 6th position, it's only 1.6 seconds off the lead. The top 3, they're within the same quarter of a second, and then Adib is a bit further back in 4th. So he's another 0.8 of a second behind Gerrit Beekers. So Gerrit again doing a purple in Sector 1. So let's see if we can improve on his, I think this will probably be his last lap. Yes, with only 53 seconds to go. This will be, if you get across the finish line now, this will be your last lap. So you have 45 seconds to cross the finish line to start the last timed lap.
Our top 3 drivers are all out on a lap, so they, I think, will just finish this lap. Looks like Picky will cross the line to start another, as will one of the some experienced drivers behind him. I'm not sure if that's Julian or Adib. So Picky not having a 3rd sector showing up there, but getting a 44.6. I'm not sure what happened there.
Purple for Gerrit in Sector 2.
Well, now it's showing greens. Someone's obviously gone faster.
Okay, that's interesting. 47.686. Let's see. There's no. The 47 is Jean Ray, and Jean Ray Sector 1 is a personal best for Jean Ray, but not the all-time best, which Gerrit. So Gerrit has purple for Sector 1 and 2.
And he improves up to 2nd, and the flag is out.
Yeah, that will be it. He got a personal best day for Sector 3, but it was by 0.026 of a second. He was beaten by Jean Ray. So we just wait for the last cars to come through. Adib is on a lap. Although nothing's showing up in green, so nothing's going to improve there. Jason Underwood has gone through. He's in 3rd, so everybody will pivot around him then. For race 2, Gerrit will start in 4th. Jean-Ray will start in 5th for race 2. So Stan is out. He's going to get a lap in, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, well done.
No, does he get it? No, yes, he does get a lap in, I think. As soon as his Sector 3 time comes up, he will have a lap, which he has. It's personal best all the way, but Stan is lost. So I'm going to snip this quickly, just for use in race 2, just to keep it out there.
All right, then we're going to jump to a quick ad break. We'll be back shortly for race 1. Alright, welcome back everyone. Of course, this is the Sim Experience South Africa Toyota GT4 Cup coming to you live for round 8, race 1 from Hochenheimring Grand Prix circuit in Germany. This is race 1, a 20-minute race. I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell, joined once again by Sean Woodgate. Good evening, Sean.
Good evening, Dennis. Good evening to everybody. And hopefully we have exciting racing like we've had. I think throughout this series we've been spoilt from a commentary perspective, and I'm sure it's going to be much the same tonight.
Everyone can just see the schedule on the screen. We have Hockenheim tonight, then we have Kyalami next week without Sean's commentary, and then Valencia for the final round.
Yeah, and luckily some of us have to take leave now and then as well. So I'll be in Cape Town, and I will miss Kyalami's round, which is a pity because I know the circuit there, well, so does Dennis, and I'm sure he will take you through it quite amicably, but certainly a pity that I missed the Kyalami round.
Just showing the championship points at the moment, but I will show you our drivers' qualifying positions shortly. Right, so I guess it helps if I put the other information up, hey? In pole position, Jean Toy from Gerrit Beekers, Jason Underwood and Adib Chameleon. In 5th place, Neil Swartz, Picky Stander in 6th place, Julian Brains in 7th, Monet Deploy in 8th. In 9th place, Dinesh Singh. In 10th place, Jeffrey Rouse. In 11th place, Aryan Balder. And in 12th place, Michael Rabellini. In 13th, Andre Hildebrandt. And in 14th, Stan Bezuidenhout, having only managed to get one lap in, thanks to load shedding.
One thing I did notice, Dennis, now when you showed who's leading in the points, the Minions team is missing.
Yes, unfortunately, Timo not able to join us tonight, but he will hopefully be back next week.
Yeah, he was, I think, lying as high as 4th or something in the points, and he was away for quite a long part of other championships that we've been running, but very, very competitive in this one, a regular top 5 finisher. So, yeah, pity that he'd be losing, but he could potentially discard this evening as his worst race and then maintain his position.
Alright, so the driver's heading around into the stadium section, basically 3 more corners to go. Snake right and left and right again. Oh, sorry, left and then right. Going into the final turn. Drivers will slowly get together.
You see the exit off the circuit there, the pit lane, on the other side of that red barrier. But in these short races, nobody will be going to the pits.
Not unless they have a problem.
Yeah.
Alright, everyone getting into their grid slots. Everyone is in their slot because the time has started to count down. And we're away.
Right, seems to be quite a nice start for the top 3. Very good for Jason. But I think everybody will just slot into their positions, the top 3 specifically. I do think, however, that the SS racing team has been split by Adib. He's in fact got past both of them. And who's it that having the problem there? Because quite a change up at the top. Adib up into 4th position already. Gerrit Beekers in 2nd. He was for an instant passed by Jason, but back up into 2nd again. So Genre is with them battling behind. Genre is going to get away. He is away by half a second already, and it's not into half a lap yet.
And Neil having a problem at the start. I think having a spin there. I'm not sure if there's contact. But
That's
down
the
to
one
14th.
Now, the thing is, those 2 cars are identical, the turquoise and green cars. So that's the one that I think caused the flop around on the start grid and then dropping all the way to the back, but he's past Aryan again.
Alright, so the battle commences at the front. We have Jean Toy, Gerrit Beekers and Jason Underwood, and right behind them we have Adib Chameleon. A really close top 4 at the moment.
Yeah, and certainly these guys can pedal along. This track, I think, has a bit of everything. The Parabolica, just by name of the word, is a Well, I think you can regard it as a straight, but it's a long left-handed curve after turn 2. And I don't think you can relax, and you've got to get your grip right. And John Ray there getting the back end to step out a little bit. I thought that will be keeping an eye on that and see where it happened, and maybe see if that's not a point where you can get at him. There's the pit lane exit, so this is the last corner, and this stadium or this circuit must be lovely to be as a spectator, because there are just so many grandstands available to go spectating.
Nice close battles going throughout here. Monet in a three-way sandwich here between Jeffrey Rouse and is that not Picky? I believe that is, yeah, it is Picky in front of him. Forgetting which car had spun.
Yeah, the car that spun is Neil, that you can see in the background there coming underneath the Pirelli banner. It's not a bridge, I don't think. It could be a pedestrian bridge, like they used to have at Killarney as well. But certainly the guys in the SS Racing team are battling. Neil Swartz is now ahead of Michael Rabellini. In fact, he's just gone back to behind Michael Rabellini. So fighting for positions all the way back to 9th and 10th position they are. So there he comes. He's going to try and take Michael Rabellini again, coming into this corner. Is he just too far back? Somehow I think so. Oh, and there's somebody spun and almost got hit by whoever's behind them. Is that Stan?
I think it was Stan that just lost the rear end there, yeah.
Yeah. And Ariane just managing to miss everybody, as well as Dinesh. I think Dinesh is the one that took avoiding action as well. So all changed as Michael Rabellini still leads Neil Swartz. Here's Julian Brains. He's got a good race this time round. He's got a solid 4th position early in the race.
And my apologies, I thought it was Adib in 4th, but it looks like it was Julian in 4th.
Yeah, Adib fell. Let's see where he's gone to, because he's gone to the back, and I think he's got the DNF. I think he was the one that spun. And it's quite easy to think that, Dennis, because both cars are white with red and black,
yes,
or black and red. So I can understand completely that it confused you as well. But having looked now, Adib's damage is bad enough that it gives him a DNF, which is terrible for him, because he's one of the guys that we consistently see in the top 5.
Here comes Jason, giving Kurt a real hard time, yeah?
Yeah, it's the Bumblebee that's trying to get it to Nachi, and Jason Underwood following behind in the JU Autos racing car. And the gaps are small. Yeah, Genre in the Nachi, I think, as I said, it was half a second. It's still half a second that he leads Gerrit. So they're keeping him honest for that first place. And Gerrit has a good turn of speed at this, but I think the guys are also sensible enough that they're not going to do any suicide dives up on the inside of anybody. Although the one accident that we did see that I think took out Adib, I think was all self-induced, unless he got a tap from the back, which we didn't see. But it looks as though then thereafter everybody just managed to miss that spinning car, unless it did get hit, which we also didn't see, which caused his damage to be extensive and therefore get the DNF.
It looks like Gerrit is starting to challenge Genre a bit more. Jason kind of losing out in the last 2 corners. Maybe just getting too much slide, losing a bit of momentum.
Yeah, that corner there, they seem to use all of the curb and more, but I'm not sure that that's the fastest line to take, to have 2 wheels over the curb on the other side of it. But at this stage, the gap 3.3 of a second. So you can see visibly that Gerrit is really, and we all know that it's if you've got a nice lead of a second or more, then you can concentrate on your own driving style, and that's all you have to worry about. But when it's a third of a second, like we see in front of us here, from first to second and second to third, then you've got to really concentrate. And for Gerrit, he's got to worry about getting to attack Genre ahead of him, but he's also got to keep in mind defending from Jason behind him. So that's the interesting part there. There's Picky Stander in the turquoise and green car. He's in 5th place. Ahead of him is Julian Brains. Behind him is Monet Deploy. And 1 car further back is Jeffrey Rouse.
Yeah, quite a nice battle going on behind you. And of course, we've got Dinesh Singh and Andre Hildebrand having a really nice battle side by side at the moment. Dinesh looks like he's going to get it up the inside. Andre will have momentum around the outside, I think, and inside to the next turn.
Yeah, there's a bit of a nudge.
Oh, I think Andre's going to have a spin there.
Yeah, and there's not much grass until you get to the curb. It looks like a marshalling point, so that they can actually remove the car. There, he spins it around nicely, but certainly loses a lot of distance. And he's not going to enjoy that too much. But it was one of those situations where neither was willing to give way, and the flow of the circuit was just such. And that you can't say that either of them had right of way because the cars were neck and neck. So a very difficult one. I would write it off as a racing incident personally, but then again, I'm not a judge of fact. I certainly state my opinion and hopefully don't offend anybody by doing so.
Yeah, so Monet Deploy currently driving for Caribbean United. His teammates, he's not with us tonight. Flying the colours solo tonight. Having a pretty solid race, 6th place. He has been higher in some of the races. If you can just get one more place, well, I was going to say you can get one more place, you can get good position for the next race, but I keep forgetting it's qualifying that sets it, not the race results.
Yes. So there's a battle behind him, so certainly they are not giving it to anybody. Neil Swartz is racing well. Monet Deploy having, as you said, a very good race in 6th position. He's holding on for dear life to that 6th position because Julian Brains is ahead of him, but let's just see what the gap is. Julian Brains to Monet is only 0.4 of a second, so it could be very, very interesting. This race still has, I have to page just a little bit up to see, it's 12 minutes to go, so still quite a bit of this race remaining. We're about not quite halfway yet. So, and the laps go by in race trim. The last laps of everybody were about 144 to 146s, the top guys. So we can work on a 144 for the race leader, Jean-Ray. Behind him, he was quicker than Gerrit Beekes. Jean-Ray did a 144.4, Gerrit did a 144.487. So it's in the hundredths of a second the differences, but certainly still noteworthy enough to know that you are losing distance and not catching up.
Julian getting very, very sideways into some of the corners, sort of backing it in almost. Gets in nice and tight that way, loses a little bit of drive on the exit, but managing to keep it all together.
Now there's the point that I said where they put virtually half of the car over the curb, and then the track runs away from you, and I think the natural momentum then carries the left-hand side of the car. There you got that, in my mind, had the right-hand wheels beyond the white line. So there again, using the curbing and a bit more. So very, very difficult. There again, beyond the white line completely, and that's down the straight. So they're fighting the car all the way. They go from the left to the right, use a little bit of the curb, which is fine, but I think if you put the whole car beyond the white line, then it'll be frowned upon. As they go under the Pirelli Bridge, which is just at the entrance into the Parabolica. Now you'll see what I was talking about earlier. The Parabolica goes in with a left and a right, and then it just continues with a gradual curve to the right. This grandstand that you see is actually, once they're coming back towards this, I'll show you where the Santander Bridge is as they go to it, if we stick with these guys with Monet Deploy. But they go through a hairpin, so the Parabolica goes on forever. Then they go through a hairpin, which is really, really sharp. Under the UBS banner, it's a structure, I don't know what you'd actually call that, then it's a slight right-hander, nothing vicious, and then up the hill again, and then you'll see the grandstand that I was talking about. Now that's the grandstand that you see the back of as you come into the Parabolica. Oh, and who lost it there in front of
That was Julian.
Julian. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I didn't see if he had, because that curve can actually be quite bad to bite you if you get too much of the curving, and that's I think what happened. Or he got into the corner too fast, then certainly it can be there to bite you. The race that's on now, the one that you see in front of it, is second and third. That's Gerrit Beekes and Jason Underwood, and Jason is he's a quarter of a second behind. So this is the battle to watch, and somehow they've let Jean-Ray Dutoy, the fact that they're fighting each other. Jean-Ray Dutoy in the Nachi is off into the sunset and is leading by almost 3 seconds. Now 3 seconds is a country mile in these Toyota GT4 Cup racing cars. So I don't think he's going to be caught.
I noticed some of the cars taking the different line. Now there's a different line into turn 2 there. Monet Deploy was taking the line that I prefer, where you turn in tighter and then you get a better exit out the straight. But he didn't seem to gain as much. He had to sort of ease off because the car in front was sliding too much and kind of blocks him in a way. And that's a problem in these cars. You can gain in all the wrong places, but where you need to gain, if the car in front of you is out of shape, you just got nowhere to go, so you can't take advantage of it.
Yeah, there's that old saying that slow in is fast out, which is, I think, exactly what you said now, that you'd rather give up a little bit of entry speed, but you gain on the exit speed. But if you can't really use it, as you say, because the car in front of you, just by the fact of the change of direction, is occupying all the road in front of you, then has it really been worth it? But yeah, Jason 0.6, 0.7 of a second now behind Gerrit. Gerrit 2.8 seconds behind John Ray. So I think the first 3 cars are pretty much set. It's just in which sequence the second and third car are going to finish. That's the interesting question. 8 minutes to go.
A nice battle here as well, as we see the recovering Neil coming through the field, having a good battle with Jeffrey at the moment. Unfortunately, Julian has dropped down to 8th place.
Yeah, he just had a good solid spin. Neil Swartz in 7th, Jeffrey Rouse in 6th, Mornay Deploy in 5th. So a very good drive by Mornay, and he's been very consistent. When we saw the spin, I think he was the car behind it. He did very well to, I don't know, I'm not, see there again, coming out of there, it's one of the SS Racing cars, going way beyond the white line, and I'm not so sure that's the right thing to do, because you actually covering more track, or the track length is longer, and you're on a piece of the track that doesn't grip as well as the piece that you should be on. So Jeffrey Rouse stays ahead of Neil Swartz. But that being said, Neil Swartz, Jeffrey made a mistake there. Yeah, Jeffrey, I'm not sure whether it was the gear change or what he did wrong in that corner, but he got the sequence of corners wrong, and the car unsettled, and right past him goes the SS Racing car of Neil Swartz up into 6th position.
Keep clicking on the wrong camera, sorry about that. I'm trying to change to this. Up the inside,
yeah, changed for second.
Oh, Jason cuts it back.
Yeah, it changed for second. Gerrit was in the lead, and Jason came past him. Gerrit made a mistake going through that section of the circuit, and Jason got back at him again. And I wouldn't say comfortably, but certainly I think it was a fairly big mistake if one were to look at it. But here again, the guys, maybe that's why they've added that AstroTurf section of the track, because everybody's ignoring the white line there and taking the whole car beyond it. I'm not sure what's written in the regs, but certainly they use more than the track there that's available to them.
What we've allowed for tonight is they can use the green, but they mustn't go beyond the green. If you go too far, it is a bit slippery, but turn 1 is the big one where you can still get an advantage. So they're not allowed to go on the inside of the sausage curve, this orange one there, and they're not allowed to go beyond the green paint.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense because it's a bright sunshine day. So had there been a slight bit of damp, then that green bit would have been extremely slippery, as well as the paint if you were to go over the curves.
Yes.
So that's a big thing to say, no, you don't touch the curves or the white lines when it's damp. But certainly on a sunshine day like today, then it is worthwhile. And if that's your style and that gives you the best speed in and out of the circuit, in and out of the corner, apologies, then certainly it is the way to go. For genre in the lead.
Gerrit challenging a little bit of a tap there. Looks like Gerrit's quite a lot stronger on the brakes. Jason maybe slower and faster out. Gerrit is a bit more aggressive on the brakes, able to turn the car on the brakes nicer. Definitely gains a lot on the brakes, but then he can't take advantage of it because he's got a car in front of him.
Yeah. And because of the hairpin being as sharp as it was, that's where that love tap was. The cars are so close together, you've really got to go a radical line, and you can't do that in and out of a hairpin. So he just settles down. There's the Santander Bridge I was talking to you about, and that's on the way to the stadium section, which is, you can see the cans of massive mobile cans. It's the Mobile 1 curve, and then you go through the Zax curve, and then you come through the South curve, which will be the last one, where the pit lane, where you get off the circuit and into pit lane. But and then all these lovely grandstands. There's the pit lane entrance or exit off the circuit into the pit lane, and then the red barrier again. There's a big mobile can I'm talking about. they sponsor the second to last corner. So the map that I've got doesn't give corner name or corner numbers. This is one of those that gives corner names again. So difficult to judge how many corners they count. Some tracks, the Americans, if it just looks as though it's a whisper of a change of direction, they count it as a corner. But this track, they seem to not worry about so many of the corners. But yeah, Mobil being a big sponsor here, they have the name of the one before you go into the stadium section at the Zaxcove, which is the second last, if you ignore that little S bit between Zach's Curve and the South Curve.
So 3.5 minutes to go. We got Monet. Looks like Monet is closing in slowly on Picky's thunder here. He had a personal best in the middle sector on the previous lap. Sorry, on the first sector. On this lap.
He's only half, well, it differs depending who's where. It's between 0.5 and 0.7 of a second that Mona is behind Picky. So he's chasing hard. And as I said before, when we saw them the first time out on circuit, Picky and Neil with the same color scheme, the SS Racing team, we said these guys certainly have the talent, and they're showing it again tonight. Neil Swartz in 6th, Picky Stande in 4th, and Mona deployed between the two of them.
Yeah, Neil having had to recover from last place, having that incident at the start, so having a good drive actually.
Yes, very good. I'm not quite sure what went wrong on the start, because the two SS Racing cars were behind each other or next to each other in qualifying, and certainly start didn't go all the way that he wanted to. Have a quick look. They were in 5th and 6th for the start for the grid, and then just something went wrong, and a good recovery by Neil to be back in 6th position with 2 minutes 20 to go. Mono Deploy is having a good drive, 5th position, so he's keeping Picky Stande honest as well. And I think Neil Swartz must be quite disheartened. He's made such a great recovery, and now he looks up and he sees that Mona is just so far ahead of him. That's what 3.2 seconds looks like. That distance between the yellow and black car and the turquoise and green one that you see at the back, that's all of 2.5 seconds.
Ooh, and he makes a mistake as well. That's just going to increase the gap.
He's got, luckily, I'll get my English right, luckily he has nobody close behind him, because Jeffrey Rouse has a further 6 seconds adrift. And sometimes when you're racing in isolation like that, your concentration might just waver, and you actually do make a mistake like that.
Nice battle here for 12th place.
Michael Rabellini only 0.3 of a second behind Stan Besaidnout. So Stan joining very late and only getting one qualifying lapping to put him in last anyway. But Stan's, you've got to be in it to win it, and Stan's up to 11th. Of course, only 13 cars on the track with the DNF of Adib, but Stan has Michael Rabellini. Okay, he's lost a bit of distance there, but it's up to 0.6 of a second. But certainly he's going to give it his everything to try and catch up to Stan.
Yeah, I think Stan is slowly getting familiar with the car, having not had time to drive this week, having business that he had to attend to, and wasn't actually expecting to drive tonight, but managed to get back in time. Oh, it was close. Michael trying on the brakes rather late there, or Stan rather early, whichever it was.
But doing the wise thing and taking the evasive action and then come back, you can always drag it back. Although time is few, we're into half a minute for this race. Where is the race leader? He's actually just about 20% into a lap. So this, I should imagine, will be the race leader's last lap.
All right, so final lap notice is now up.
That's nice. We have, for those of you that don't have access to the lap scoring monitor, it gives us where the cars are relative to the length of the circuit. And the race leader is now entering about the halfway mark. So, yeah, the Archie is out in the lead by 5.2 seconds. Jason and Gerrit have kept each other honest. Jason has settled in that second position now. Gerrit is keeping third. There's the Archie coming along. He's going to take the one out. Yes, Michael Rabellini still right to the end. They're going to have one more lap to go, unless they're given the flag now already.
We'll come back to that in a moment, because the leader's about to come across the line. He's in the final sector.
Yeah, Jean-Ray drove a very good race. He just got a good start, and while everybody was squabbling behind him, he just stayed out. It was only half a second for a long time, and then somehow when Jason started pressurizing Gerrit, it allowed Jean-Ray to get away. And sorry, Jean-Ray, that we didn't talk about your racing much, but it's because that there was such a good race happening on behind you. But a great race driven by Jean-Ray.
Of course, has won championships before, so we know his pedigree is there, and proving it tonight. He has had a lot of bad luck, but takes race 1 victory tonight.
Yeah, that means well, if he had pole, then he will start 5th. I'm just going to have a look. While the rest of them come through, Jason Underwood, Gerrit Beekers, 3rd for Gerrit for tonight. I won't say he'll be disappointed, but Gerrit is used to ending 2nd or 1st. I remember we did an interview one race, and the 2nd position had been his worst finish for the season up to that point. So, yeah, it's going to be Neil Swartz from Adib. Can you believe is it Adib that got a DNF?
Look at that. Sorry, Jeffrey didn't make it across the line and he's lost some places. I think he ran out of fuel.
I was actually listening to some of the guys in free practice this afternoon and how much fuel they thought they would need and that sort of thing. And
1 litre more than Jeffrey put in.
Yeah, there's another car that comes to standstill. So fuel, they might have put in just enough so to have it sloshing around the last bit to get you across the finish line. But nonetheless, a great race there for the Flying Nachi of Jean-Ray Dutoy. And 2nd, Jason Underwood, Gerrit Beekers in 3rd. Pikkie Stander got 4th, and then Morne Deploy in 5th position. And Neil Swartz a distant 6th after making that mistake.
All right, we're going to jump to a ad break while we set the grid for race 2. We'll probably be back in about 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Please hang tight till then. Remember, if you're enjoying what you're watching, hit the like and subscribe button. But we will be back shortly. See you then.
Till race 2.
welcome back everyone to race 2 of the Sim Experience South Africa Toyota GT4 Cup, coming to you live round 8 race 2 from the Hochenheimring GP circuit in Germany. Another 20-minute race for race 2. I am your commentator Dennis Mitchell, joined once again by Sean Woodgate. Good evening, Sean. Welcome back for race 2.
Yeah, good evening to you, Dennis. I'm just having a quick look in the fun of the fair. We're missing one of the drivers. We only have 13 on the start grid, and I think it might be Adib. Adib hasn't made it to the start.
Oh dear, he was in second place as well.
Yeah, so I don't see him on the lap scoring monitor. So, for reasons unknown to me.
That's a shame. Not having much luck tonight. A DNF in race 1.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe technical problems?
That might be the reason why he's not here for race 2, is what I'm thinking as well.
All right, while the drivers are on their formation lap, we can perhaps have a look at the starting order. So, in first place, we have Neil Swartz. In second place, promoted thanks to Adib not being there, Jason Underwood, then Gerrit Pierkes, then Jean-Ray de Toy. Picky Stando in 5th place, Julian Brains in 6th place, Monet Deploy in 7th place, Dinesh Singh in 8th place. In 9th place, Jeffrey Rouse. In 10th place, Arjan Balder. 11th place, Andre Hildebrandt. 12th place, Michael Rabellini. And in 13th place, Stan Bezadnert. And 14th place, unfortunately not with us anymore, which would have been Adib, but Adib would have qualified in 2nd place for this race.
Yeah, that's actually quite a big loss. So this might be the race meeting that he discards. In the race rules, you can discard your 2 worst races, and for Adib, there will be 0 points in both races here, and he might elect to discard both of them. So for Jean-Ray, the battle is on to see how he's going to get from 5th to 1st, if he's capable of doing so, because now he has Gerrit Pierkes and Jason Underwood ahead of him. I'm not saying it's impossible to overtake them, but it's certainly going to be more difficult than racing from a pole position. And also we'll have to see how well Neil Swartz is going to do after having bad luck on the start in the first race, if he's going to have a better start in race 2 and also from pole position.
Alright, so the drivers are finished with their formation lap. The time will start to count in a moment. And at that point we know everyone is in their grid slots. Right, there we go. Green, 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 we're away.
Right, we're away. Was it my imagination, or was grid slot 2 open because that was Adib? So everybody went into the grid slots that had been allocated and left grid slot 2 open.
That's correct, yes, it certainly looked
Yes.
that way.
Yeah, which is probably the right way to do it. Neil had a good start, Jason had a good start, Gerrit had a good start, everybody's in their positions. In fact, Pakistanda is right there with Jean-Ray de Toy, so he's had a demon start as well. And then the cars that are very similarly coloured is Julian Brains, Monet de Toy. Well, Monet de Toy has the Red Bull colours on the bonnet, so that's easier to identify. But everybody got away well, there were no incidents in terms. As we saw in race 1, right at the back, look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4 cars that are fighting position, and 2 of them are on the inside, 2 of them on the outside. What's going to happen now? Some of them are going to go around wide. I think, was that Jeffrey Rouse that actually took a place of yellow.
Look at that, 4 wide, we don't see that very often.
Now, and here comes the corner. It's only a high-speed sweep, but nonetheless, they're now in 2 pairs, which makes it a lot better. But here's also a dive up on the inside by Michael Rabellini. He's going to be on the natural inside of the corner. They're still fighting for that position as early in the race as it is. And those are the 2 cars that we managed to get wrong all along. Is it Michael and Dinesh? That because the color schemes are so similar, we get them confused at times. In fact, I think there are 3. Oh, that's the slow road. Never mind. That's a slow road when you got so much of your car on the grass, because the grip either to change direction or to accelerate just isn't there.
Well, this action is happening. We've got action happening at the front as well.
Yeah, Neil Swartz has got half a second on Jason, and Jason's half a second ahead of Gerrit Beerkes, and 3/4 of a second behind them is Jean-Ray du Toit. You can see there Jean-Ray a little bit further back. This is the top three, Neil, Jason and Gerrit. Then a little bit further back for Jean-Ray du Toit in fourth, and Pikkie Stander has lost quite a bit of distance to Jean-Ray du Toit. He's the second one of the SS Racing cars in lime green and turquoise, but still he's up there, so he's fighting to win it. So good points for him with the fifth position if he were to finish there. But certainly great racing and a great start for Neil Swartz. And I tell you, it looks like if he can get used to this sort of thing starting in pole, then there is going to be difficulty for guys like Jason, Gerrit and Jean-Ray in races to come. Here comes the Flying Bumblebee, still in third position, and has Jason Underwood, but Jason is now making life very difficult for Neil Swartz. He cannot afford to make the slightest mistake, and Jason's going to be there to pounce. He takes the racing line, makes that car very wide. Oh, is that a tap? No, he just takes it off, feathers the throttle, does Gerrit, so that he doesn't run into Jason, because the thing is, if you do touch the car ahead of you, you've got to, if he were to spin, then you've got to wait the gentleman thing to let him pass. But alternatively, you don't want to run into him. And then when you take your foot off the throttle, you lose speed. Oh, mistake there by Jason, big mistake. He's off the track completely, and that means Gerrit is up into second place, and the Bumblebee and the masses supporting the Bumblebee will be really jumping for joy with that change. He dives up on the inside of Swartz. It's not going to work there. Certainly a very, very interesting, the stadium section of the circuit, very interesting to look at. And they're into the main straight, and not sure, we did mention a few races ago that these cars don't seem to respond to slipstreaming, but nonetheless, if you're making life difficult for the guy ahead of you, they have a straight section here. They go under the Pirelli banner, and then it's the right-left entrance. Yeah. So, and a slight spin, not a spin, but he's just losing the back end there, does Neil, and that means Jason also gets past him. Jason is there to challenge Gerrit for the lead, and Jean-Ray is right there to challenge for. So actually one small mistake like that, and you go from first to third, potentially. He's still holding on to third for now, but I think Jean-Ray is well positioned because the corner is going to go to the right here, so Jean-Ray just tucks it in on the brakes. The hairpin to the right, and they're away under the UBS banner. They'll be off onto that grandstand that you see the back end of when they go into the Parabolica, which I mentioned earlier. That they'll actually be passing very soon. There it is. And this must be a stunning place to sit, I think, at this circuit, because you see so much. Oh, mistake there by Gerrit and by Jason. Was there contact between the two of them?
There was indeed.
Yeah, because Jason all of a sudden falls down to fourth position. Gerrit holds on by 0.1 of a second from Jean-Ray du Toit. So that would be interesting to see what happened there. But it's a change, and Jason's not going to be too happy about that. And it doesn't look as though Gerrit's going to wait for him to get past. He's just keeping the foot down, trying to stay ahead of Jean-Ray. So it just goes to show, even winning races and winning them, I wouldn't say at leisure, but quite a few of them during the race season, things do happen during the course of a race, and we just saw there. And also it means, it goes to show that Neil Swartz, having gone from first to third and then to fourth, he just kept his head down and kept pedaling, and he's now got third position, so potentially a podium position for this race. Not quite sure what the overall position would be for the evening. I think he got a 6th for race 1, but certainly great racing for Neil. He's got to keep it going, and Pikkie Stander, his teammate, in 5th position behind Jason. So
they kind of reversed from race 1 and race 2. One was 4th, one was 6th. Now it's the other way around.
Yeah, so Jason's going to have double vision looking ahead and seeing the same car in his rearview mirror in that stunning lime green and turquoise. There they are. See the two of the cars, one ahead of and one behind Jason Underwood. So yeah, Gerrit seems to have settled now, 3/4 second ahead of Jean-Ray du Toit. The Nachi is there, ever present, and the Bumblebee tries to stay in the lead. So Gerrit Beerkes going well. Personal best, or the fastest lap, all best for Jean-Ray du Toit, 1 minute 44.46. That's the best lap time at this stage, but as he gets into the lead now, Gerrit Beerkes starts popping up the purples. He's got a purple for Sector 1, so that's the quickest car in Sector 1, and we'll see if they stay. He's got a personal best for Sector 2, and we'll see what he finishes, see if he's going to, big mistake there.
That's going to cost him. Well,
yeah,
they're having to play the avoiding action, yeah.
Yeah, so mistakes being made all over. I'm just going to take a swig of water.
Let's see if Stan loses a bit of drive. Looks like he got that fine. He's got his composure together again. I think Monet's got a lot more speed on the brakes though.
Yeah, I think when you get the curbing to unsettle the car like that, it actually takes a while just to get your concentration back. And I don't think Stan took the correct racing line there. They're also over the curbs again. Yeah, not quite so much. We saw that being over zealous, quite a few drivers being overzealous on those curves coming into the front straight. But at this stage, Stan Besaynaert running a great race. He's going to be quite happy at 10th position, considering the fact that he joined only just in time to put in a qualifying lap. But nonetheless, he's out there racing and enjoying it. Very interesting circuit, this one, with the subtle changes of direction here and there. That Allianz, shall we call it, advertising banner, I think it has a different sponsorship on the other side, so it could be misleading to tell you where you think you are on the circuit.
You're sliding and tires squealing. Ooh. Ooh.
Yep.
Back end getting loose on Monet into Stan there.
Yeah, so Monet losing it so much that he ran the back end of his car into Stan. So Stan has kept the lead, but now all of a sudden it's almost 2 seconds that he's away from Monet. Here's the challenge for the lead again. We'll have to look up the road to see how far the Bumblebee is. It's not very far, it's less than a second. So Gerrit leads John Ray by 0.8 of a second. It's car number 3, Gerrit Beekes, the Flying Bumblebee, full throttle. Then Savage Racing, Jean-Ray de Toy, number 737, part of the Boeing Brigade. That's in second. The Nachi, Neil Swartz, SS Racing, the turquoise and green cars, the first of 2 of them. In third position, Jason Underwood, the JU Autos racing car, predominantly in black with a little bit of yellow, number 17. And fifth, Picky Stunder, the second of the SS Racing. I wonder if we were to look at a team championship, whether SS Racing might not be one of the teams that is doing the best, because they're consistently in the top 6 or 7 at least, and now we've got 1 in third and 1 in fifth, so this is a great race for SS Racing.
Yeah, they've definitely been a strong team this championship so far.
So yeah, here it is. We were saying Neil Swartz was the one that was probably disheartened because he had a mistake in the start of the race, in race 1, and by the time he caught up, everybody was so far ahead of him. This time it's his teammate Picky Stunder that's probably disheartened, because he's there in 5th position, but if he looks up, then Jason Underwood is a long way ahead of him. That's what 3.7 seconds looks like, if this is Jason in the dark car behind Neil. And there comes Picky. So as I said, that's what 3.5 seconds now looks like. So he's making inroads, but it all depends on which car is where. Here's first and second that just flashed in and out of view. Gerrit Beekes in the Flying Bumblebee, and Jean-Ray de Toy in the Nachi Savage Racing in second position.
Sorry to butt in. Apologies for the driver profile there for Neil. It has the old team name. He is driving for SS Racing now.
Okay, so we've got that right. So Jean-Ray de Toy still has the fastest lap, that 144.46, and Jason fighting back hard in 4th position, only has a quarter of a second. There you can see it. There they are. They were just to the left. Sorry, to the right. They were to the left of the circuit. That was what I was thinking. Gerrit Beekes is maintaining that 0.8 of a second lead. Here's Jason challenging really hard on Thunder for that. Sorry, it's not Picky, it's Neil Swartz for that 3rd position. So Jason's fighting back really, really hard. Don't worry, we get these guys wrong regularly, and we'll probably get them wrong in days to come. But yeah, Neil Swartz looking back at Jason Underwood, and Jason Underwood looking forward, the camera on the left, for the 3rd placed Neil Swartz. Who's going to go where? Is Jason going to try and go up the inside? I think it's going to be very difficult. Or I think, well, Jason wasn't there to bounce, but I think out of that Spitz corner, which is the hairpin, I think he was a little bit faster or wider out of there than he would have preferred. That's Neil Swartz. But Jason wasn't close enough to actually make use of all the track that was available to the right. We've mentioned this before while we were switching over between race 1 and 2, that the way the corner layout is, that you might have a better entry into the corner, but you can do nothing with the time that you gain because the car is ahead of you is occupying all of the road anyway, just by nature of the change of direction of the road. Right,
Nice
so yes,
battle here between Dinesh Singh and Michael Rabellini.
right, they're coming up to that stadium section. They passed underneath the Santander banner, through the mobile
Small
curve,
mistake there.
right.
Michael getting on the dirt and really snaking around. Dinesh not able to capitalize, unfortunately.
Yeah, some of the guys are getting a little bit ragged here and there. It's still 7.5 minutes to go, so still quite a lot of this race left. But Gerrit has now extended it to 0.9 of a second from Gendre. The race leader who's up on the inside there is that Dinesh. Is he going to make it work? Dinesh also runs the IBF USA, which is the team with Stan Besaidnout. There you can see it on the bonnet. So Dinesh is fighting really hard and holding on for life. And Michael Rabellini is not making life very easy for him. And luckily Dinesh has got 7.8, almost 8 seconds before he gets to Jeffrey Rouse. So somehow I don't think that's going to happen. And I think Michael Rabellini is falling away from Dinesh. So if we look at the last laps, a 1:47.9 by Dinesh and a 1:48.5 by Michael Rabellini. So Dinesh is getting away from him. There, if I saw in the distance,
Oh, contact.
yeah, so he stands and lets him go. It was his mistake. So he's going to lose one position. Well done, Jason. That's good manners. He might lose another position because momentum keeps them going. But I think if that's Michael or Andre, they probably realize that these are two of the quicker guys and we're going to let them go. But I think the contact was there due to Jason. So Jason allowed Neil, was it, to go ahead of him? So Jason falls down to 6th position. And behind Jason is Julian Brains now. So Julian Brains, number 40, racing for Sim Experience SA, which is the outfit that actually brings you the racing that we do see. So Julian Brains, number 40. But at the moment, Pakistander and Neil Swartz, the teammates, are in 3rd and 4th. So you've got to be in it to win it. That's the first saying. And then behind that is Jason Underwood, now really trying to get back to his position due to the mistake that he made and at least claw back one position back up to 4th. But there, Gerrit Beerkes is ahead of Gendre. It's not 0.8 anymore of a second, it's only 0.4. So maybe Gendre has got better tyres left, he's just got a better race strategy, who knows. The Panasonic banner, I think, indicates to you you're now going to the brake markers at the entrance to the hairpin. You should have the UBS banner straight thereafter, so they're in and out of the hairpin. And certainly the 737 Boeing Brigade is flying at the Bumblebee. Jean-Ray de Toy in the orange car, chasing the black and yellow car of Gerrit Beerkes. Gerrit in 1st position, half a second ahead of Jean-Ray at this stage, with only, just less than 5 minutes to go.
Very different lines there. Gerrit taking a sort of wide sweeping line, Gendre taking a sort of tighter, straighter line. But they're coming out much the same. So very different driving styles, and it evens out quite nicely.
Yeah, I think also one looks at these and you say, how does that work? And it's just a question of which car gets a good speed in. And normally, as I said earlier, without repeating too much, that if you slow in and you then get a good exit speed. But some of the guys don't keep that in mind too much. To them, it's more a question of maintaining the momentum, and then you'll do the sweeping line that Dennis. There you see the nice big mobile can, which Dennis and I were chatting between races. We think with the involvement of German touring cars here at Hochenheim quite a while back, that's where the mobile sponsorship came in. The Pirelli bridge is just at the entrance to the Parabolica. The Parabolica entrance has a right and a left, not quite an S, but there's a set of corners. Then the Parabolica just carries on forever with a gradual curve. So here the guys are going into there's the right, there's the left. Some of the guys are completing the lap. That's not the line to take. So have a quick look who's there. That's number 36, Stan Besaidnout. And where's Arjan Bell? He's running in last, and he's looking at Stan Besaidnout. So the gap between them only 0.4. Stan goes beyond the green and everything else. So that's really, really way off. And that's it, really. That's the outside of turn 1. So I think he was a bit hot into turn 1, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely got that wrong. Didn't seem to gain any time, so it looks like he did roll off slightly because Arjan definitely caught him on the straight.
I recall one Formula One race where something similar to that happened. The only difference was, I think it was Sebastian Vettel that actually passed Jenson Button off the circuit like that. So that went up to the stewards and they disallowed it. So here comes Arjan due to a mistake made by Stan. So Stan drops to 13th and last, and Arjan gains a position. So well done, Arjan, for racing consistently and being right there when others are making mistakes around you. And even if it's only for 12th, it gains a position.
Arjan looking like he's starting to get to grips with the car at the end of the race. Didn't get much time to practice, I don't think. So during the race, definitely getting his footing and starting to improve a bit. Obviously driving around other drivers a lot more. You get to follow them, you get to steer with your eyes. It makes a big difference to a racing driver.
Right, these laps take 1 minute 44 or thereabouts. The race leader is about a quarter of the way into the lap is in, and there is 1 minute 56 to go. I think the race leader is going to do this lap, cross the line, and do one more. There's the Panasonic, which is just before the entrance to the Spitz corner. I like this camera position because you can see them coming out of the Parabolica, see them going through the Spitz corner and then racing away before they take that right-hander, which goes up to that beautiful grandstand as well. As I said before, the circuit really has a lot of grandstands that accommodate a lot of people. There's the one that I'm talking about that the race leaders are now getting at. They're coming to complete a lap. So with 1 minute 23 to go, and I tell you what, Gerrit Beekes is being made to drive that car really hard because less than 0.4 of a second behind him is Jean-Ray de Toy. So they go through Santander, which is the corner just before they enter the grandstand stadium section. So here you'll see they go right, then there's a leftish hairpin, that's the one they're on now. Then there's a subtle double change of direction. There they go through that again. Then it'll be right, and that'll be on the front finish start line, and it's 48 seconds to go. So yes, they're going to cross the line and do one more lap. So Dennis is going to probably pop up last lap. Here goes the race leader. So they start the final lap, and just there it looks as though Gerrit got a little bit the better of turn 1. Turn 1 by the looks of it is very tricky. So you either get it really right, but Jean-Ray is right back at him. It's a third of a second. Pikkie Standard is 11 seconds back, so that doesn't matter. The battle is actually on for first and second, and that's always great for commentating because you're actually commentating for who's going to win the race and for some of the minor placings. Just have a quick look down the leaderboard. There's nobody less than a second except for Jason Underwood's behind Neil Swart. That's for 5th and 4th position. So Jason, my tongue and my brain get into the same gear. Jason is pushing hard to take back 4th position from Neil Swartz, and otherwise here you see the Flying Bumblebee pushing hard to stay ahead of the Nachi. Gerrit Beekes fighting really hard to stay in 1st position, Jean-Ray de Toy in 2nd, right there behind him, and it stays 0.3 of a second.
See the different lines there as well. Gerrit goes wide, Jean-Ray takes the inside line, but they come out much the same.
Yeah, the one keeps the momentum, the other one straight into the corner. There's Santander again, back to the inside stadium section where it's just one continuous grandstand going all the way around if you look to the right. So here they come now. And this is the corner. It's a hairpin, but it's not as sharp an apex hairpin as the other one. So it's a 180-degree change of direction. Here's that sort of minor S. And there he comes to have a look on the inside. Gerrit does. Jean-Ray does on Gerrit, but I think Gerrit has the nose ahead. And that's just enough to win this race.
A great finish there.
Right, what a great race by them. And look at these teammates. I tell you, for TV coverage and sponsorship, this is a great footage for Pikkie Standard and Neil Swartz for 3rd and 4th position. Jason Underwood after the mistake, and a good bit of gentleman driving as well. to start. But Picky gets third, Neil gets fourth, Jason Underwood gets fifth. Behind them, Julian Brains gets, in the Sim Experience number 40 car, gets sixth position. And Jeffrey Ross will be across the line. So Johan Beekers, part of the fan club for Gerrit Beekers, giving many happy emojis for us there. Here's the battle on right till the end. Mornay Deploy behind Michael Robolini. So they finished like that. I forgot to mention Julian Brains. I did mention Jeffrey Rouse 7th. Dinesh Singh was 8th. Michael Robolini finished in 9th. 10th was Mornay Deploy. Here's still the battle right onto the line. Would you believe it? That's Andre Hildebrand and Arjan Belder for 11th and 12th position, and then a little bit further behind is Stan Besaidnat for 13th and last. What a race this was, all the way to 11th and 12th position. Was as close as first and second. So great racing, guys. Really enjoyed that.
All right, we're going to jump to a break in the moment. I'm not sure why there's a bar that's popped up along the bottom. Apologies for that. But we will be back shortly. So stay with us for the interviews. And remember, always hit the like and subscribe button if you're enjoying what you're watching. And if you want to hear the top 3 interviews, stick around. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back everyone to the completion of the Sim Experience South Africa Toyota GT4 Cup Round 8 from the Hochenheimring in Germany. We have our top 3 drivers with us for the round. They are Jean de Toy in first overall, Gerrit Beker second overall, and Jason Underwood third overall. Sean, would you like to do the questions?
Yeah, just, well, first of all, to tell you guys that it was really close. Jean-Ray beat Gerrit by 2 points on the evening overall, but then Jean-Ray got 3 bonus points. Pole position and fastest lap in both races, so that makes it another 3, so then it makes it 5. Jean-Ray, I'm probably going to focus more on the second race. It's quite a challenge chasing and overtaking compared to starting in pole. Tell us how you managed to get where you did get to in race 2.
Yeah, with following it was quite difficult, and I was afraid because the first race I was in pole, so I didn't have to worry about that. So for the first couple of corners, I braked a bit too early, and I saw them get away from me. But yeah, it's easy to overtake on this track, but still quite difficult. You have to really be on someone's arse to get them into the braking zone. But overall, it was quite a fun race. It's yeah, it's easy to mess up, so you can take someone out quite easily. But following here it's fun.
Yeah, and Gerrit, we thought you had it fairly comfortably in the bag, and again, I'm talking about race 2, with a lead of 0.8 of a second or so. And then all of a sudden, the Flying Nazi was approaching the Bumblebee at speed, and I think you made a mistake as well, somewhere towards the last quarter of the race, or maybe the last 3 laps or so, which allowed Jean-Ray really to get on top of you. Did you find the closing stages of race 2 to be quite difficult to hold on to the lead?
Yeah, guys. Yeah, I had excessive tire wear. I don't know why. Probably just the way I drive or something. And I would probably use a little bit more front left. I think maybe through that sweeping right, I was just burning up the tire. So yeah, that cost me at the end of the race, but it was fine. All good.
Oh, well driven. And then, Jason, the mistake that you made in race 2, and then you allowed, I don't know, 3 cars to pass you, and then had to claw your way back. Eventful race for you in race 2.
Yeah, hi Dennis, hi Sean. It's been quite eventful last 3 couple of races, to be honest. They haven't been as tidy as normal, but it was good racing nonetheless tonight. Neil was very quick in front of me. Well, everybody was very quick tonight. But yeah, getting past it's like Jean-Ray said in the beginning. If you don't get a good run out of a corner, it's very difficult to try and pass because obviously the cars are all the same. But yeah, other than that, it was okay. I'd rather give this one a miss and go on to the next one, I think.
Okay, just one last question, Jean-Ray. The one element that I think is missing to make this a really nice is that it has a nice little hill somewhere, like Kyalami, where you go up the hill to Leeuwkop. I think that would be a final element that would change the dynamics of this circuit to make it a really nice track.
Yeah, no, this track is quite fun. I like the more spacious tracks like these one where you can have 3 cars wide if you really want to. So I really enjoy these type of tracks.
You guys didn't see the chaos behind you. Early in race 2, they were 4 abreast coming down the straight. Going into they settled themselves into 2 pairs of 2 cars, but yes, it was a lot of fun. Thanks, guys. Over to you, Dennis.
All right, just a final question for Jean-Ray then, our race winner for the evening. Jean-Ray, you've finally had a good race where things actually went in your favor. You've had the clean sweep, pole position, fastest lap, race wins. So you obviously didn't get both wins, but you've got overall everything went right for you. You've managed to actually claw back some points in the championship, so you're now on 250 points for the championship, and Gerrit is on 298. Jason has actually lost a bit of points tonight, so Jason on 258, so you've almost caught up to Jason, 8 points from you and Jason. Overall, if you have a couple of good rounds, you might actually still be able to catch Gerrit, although Gerrit has to have a bit of bad luck. But how are you feeling going in towards the last 2 rounds of the championship?
Yeah, I think Gerrit We might need to tell him to take a forced vacation. That way, I should be able to maybe battle for first place. But I think the battle for second place is definitely on between Jason, and it should be fun.
All right, well done to our top 3 drivers, and I'm going to say goodnight to you all. I'm going to kick you all out quickly, so thank you and congratulations to our top 3.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Guys.
Bye, bye, bye.
Right, someone was very tired there. All right.
Jason's really tired.
All right, our next round, of course, is Kyle Army. This is the current version of Kyle Army, so the drivers should be quite familiar with the circuit. It's quite a fantastic circuit. Could be quite challenging in this car as well, so we will see how that pans out. Of course, I will be doing that solo next week. Sean, you will be on vacation, and I'm sure it's a well-deserved vacation.
Yeah, I'll be doing well. I was invited to do something motorsport, and I declined. My sister's youngster races dirt carts in Cape Town, and he's quite quick. But it's on the day that we arrive, so I decided, no, let me take a total break from motorsport and be on holiday for a change. No work, no commentary, no nothing, just go on holiday, eat and drink and be merry.
Nice. Well, of course, the round will be Kyle Army. That's our penultimate round, and that will be followed by Valencia, which is quite a fantastic. It's certain parts of it are quite tight, but it's also quite flowing at some parts. I think it's a fantastic circuit. What a great way to round up a really awesome championship. So until next week, have a great week, everyone. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed. If you didn't like it, you can always hit the thumbs down button, but hopefully it's the thumbs up button. And until next week, we'll catch you all next week. Good evening, everyone.
I'll speak to you guys in 2 weeks. Good night, everybody.